Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out with the sauce, the tea, Lawrence Okolie. That rhymes.
That one. Yeah.
Lawrence, good to see you. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. Thanks. Happy to be here.
Great to see you. So yeah, the fight as well, of course, ringside. Just get your quick take on kind of Alvarez. It was he wanted obviously to get the undisputed back, and he got that, but William Scull didn't provide maybe the fight that some thought he might. What did you think of it?
I thought that's how he was always going to box Canelo. Pick shots and obviously stay away from the big power. A lot of Cubans, especially at the lighter weight, that's the way that they kind of box. They kind of hit and don't get hit. But the judges favoured the aggressive style, so yeah, here we are.
You thought Scull might have nicked it?
Personally, I did, yeah. From where I was like, he was sort of boxing kind of, like Canelo basically didn't land enough, is what I thought. But then ultimately, at the end of the day, boxing is also about positioning in the ring. Like some judges like the guy controlling the centre of the ring in the real estate, so I can see how obviously because it was that fight where Canelo was always on the front foot and Scull was on the back foot. If you like the front foot thing, he's gonna win every round, and if you like that other thing, he's gonna win it, and the other guy's gonna win every round. So, but I'm happy because now the Crawford and Canelo fight gets happening, and we get to see some history.
What's your take on that one as well? Because that's split in opinion. Are you on either side of who you think wins for that?
Well, now after yesterday's performance, I give Crawford more of a shot. Before I thought Canelo might be too big and just too powerful, but unless he ups his work rate in that particular fight, Crawford has every chance of sort of just outmaneuvering him.
Even with the weight disparity?
I don't know how big the weight disparity will be. It's tough because I don't box at those weights. I don't really understand the, how a light middleweight will fare with a super middleweight. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't understand, how that weight. I just know from cruiserweight to bridgeweight to heavyweight, like how it translates. I don't really know the lighter weight, so I can't really comment on that.
Can you break that down a little bit just in the context of that? Because obviously being a cruiserweight, bridgeweight, you'll have sparred heavyweights throughout your career. Do you feel the bigger man when you're in sparring, or how does that work?
You more so you'll feel it in terms of the weight and the presence, as opposed to punches like a cruiserweight can punch nearly as hard as a heavyweight, dependent, except for the mass. But because they got speed, they can throw 3 where a heavyweight might throw 2. So it's very different. And for example, if you're 95, 100 kilos, you can fight someone who's 120 kilos, and it's like you got enough power to hurt them. But I don't know if someone's 70 kilos can do that to someone 90 kilos. So I think there is a point where it just becomes you can fight anyone.
One eye on Riakporhe's heavyweight debut last night?
I had a little eye. I mean, I heard he looked shit. I just remember when I had my first comeback fight, it was in a stadium full of 5,000-6,000 Polish guys wanting to see my head get torn off against the world champion, and I got rid of him in a round. He's come here and boxed the journeyman or whatever, so it is what it is.
I did speak to Richard post-fight, and I just said about the fight with yourself, and he said he was ready and wanting that fight, but of course, from your point of view, you were injured and couldn't take that fight on. Do you think you and Richard will meet in the ring?
Potentially. I don't see why not. Is it next or is it the one out? I don't know. But, I was obviously raring to go. I'm the one that called for the fight. Richard can't call for a fight with me. So I obviously told my team to get that fight done. Unfortunately, for the second time, my first fight, it happened as well. But I got injured to the point where I couldn't perform on the night. So that's where we're at.
Your status is as WBC #1, but I don't think that's soon in the rotation. So speaking to Joe Gallagher, your trainer, he said that we want Ajit Cabel and try to get that over the line. Is that the #1 priority for you?
Number one priority. My promoters have made offers to him to box here and in Germany, so we'll see what happens with that. It seems like he might not want to fight at the moment, might not want to fight until September, but that's the one I want the most. Everyone, same as Okolie, everyone's calling this guy the boogeyman, but I look at him as just like a boxer, and we'll get to box him.
So yeah, you don't particularly mind where that fight takes place. You're happy to go to Germany?
I mean, as I said before, I've been to Poland to box against a Polish guy. As an amateur, I went all over the world boxing people in their home countries. For me, it's a boxing ring. Do you know what I mean? So, whether it's in Germany or whether it's in Saudi or whether it's in UK, it don't really matter.
Absolutely, every fighter has gaps in their defense or their offense, or whatever it is their skill, and any fighter in the heavyweight division can be beat on their day. What is it you specifically see about Ajit Cabel that gives you that further bit of confidence? Of course, you'll have the confidence that you get the win, but what is it you see in him that makes you cement that in your head that you beat him?
It's not. It's just more so what I see of myself. It's not him. Like, he's a good fighter. Anyone can watch him and see he's one of the better heavyweights. So it's just a case of, I think obviously I've got speed, athleticism, a lot of stuff on my side against a lot of these heavyweights. So, it's just about a matter of getting them in the ring and then getting it done.
Is he the boogeyman as pundits seem to think he is?
I don't think so. But the only way I'm going to be able to answer that is after I've beaten him.
What do you think of his fight against Zhang?
Well, it's good. I mean, you can't watch Cabel and say anything negative. Yeah. He's going in there, he's blocking shots well, coming back with good body work, and sort of out-gritting, out-grafting, and winning these fights convincingly. So he's been on a good run of form. So, yeah.
Is his size been a little bit smaller, but one of his main advantages, do you feel?
It depends who you're boxing. Styles make fights. Obviously, I'm not a massive heavyweight. I've just moved up. So he won't be that much smaller than me or that much, but we'll be in and around the same size. So it's helped him with like maybe Zhang and Majmedov, but not with Frank Sanchez. So as I say, Cabel is a great fighter. Do you know what I mean? But I'm trying to get a third world title. So he's one of the only men in the way of me getting that. So that's why I want it done so quickly.
September is a while away still. So will you have something in between?
100%. I'm trying to get some stuff over the line. Obviously, we've asked for the Dillian Whyte fight, but he don't want nothing to do with it, which is kind of disgraceful, to be fair.
When you say he wants nothing to do with it, you've had conversations with his team, and then it's got 2 minutes.
Conversations. My promoter had conversations, and they said they come back point blank and said he's scared. Like, there's nothing more I can kind of do except for say, we sat next to each other at a press conference. Right. I said, win, lose or draw for him, I want that fight. It's a fight I've wanted since 2019. Like, we had our little back and forth, and Eddie Hearn and all the promoters that I've had known, I've always been pushing for that fight, like, because I always believed I'd beat him. And what I don't want is to have this kind of grudge against someone and not be able to settle it in a boxing ring. So, yeah, we got to get it done. Like, he's got to stop being such a pussy and let's just get it done.
Is it a surprise for you that that's been the case after you had that conversation at the top table that now it's not materialising?
We shook hands on it, like, and it's one of those ones where it's like, I'm in a much better position than he is in. I'm in WBC #1. I'm about to get mandated to either box Cabel or something bigger. So we're in that realm right now. I've been 2-weight world champion. I'm sitting in a quite comfortable position. He's someone that's obviously hoping and waiting for maybe an AJ payday or something like that, but those fights aren't happening and aren't gonna happen. So if you actually wanna be a boxer and box, I'm an opportunity to get a WBC high ranking, and then you can call for any of those fights. But at the moment now, he's just sitting there, just hiding, basically.
What happens when you two meet in the ring if you do?
It'll be a savage stoppage. I'll definitely stop him badly. I think stylistically, he's obviously always got grit, always a dog. But I'll knock him out.
The rumour mill, like with the ear to the ground, is saying that Joe Parker and Dillian Whyte might meet in the ring. Have you heard that? Have you heard the whispers that that's in the offing?
I haven't heard that, and I wouldn't expect that to actually materialise for multiple reasons.
What do you think would happen if those two meet?
I think Parker would beat him. Yeah, I think Dillian's shit. I just want to beat him because, I don't like him. Like, yeah.
That grudge stems, of course, from obviously there's a lot of history between YouTube videos on IFL and stuff that we've seen, but you two seemed, I guess, at least cordial at that press conference. Is that just a case of...
The thing is, same with Richard. If I see these guys, I'm not going to walk up to them and slap them. It's not that. We're boxers. As much as Dillian walks around like he's some dumb dark horse, whatever, he's made his money from being a boxer. He's not made money from being El Chapo. He's a professional athlete. So it's not, I'm going to see him and me and my friends are going to do something. It's a case of, I don't like you, we don't like each other. Let's get it done in the one place where it's legal.
So if it's not Dillian, is there another fighter, anyone else in mind?
Those are the only two fights that I really want, if I'm honest with you, Cabel or Dillian Whyte.
So you So if Dillian doesn't materialise, you'd sit out until September.
Potentially, I mean, because the thing is, I already had like a decent heavyweight fight. I don't really want to do it. If I have to, like just for activity, I will. But the problem isn't with myself; it's with other people. Like I put myself forward for the Joseph Parker, put myself forward for Fabio. It's just I'm realizing that it's like I'm what they think is a potentially difficult fight at this stage in their careers. What's the fuck like? We'll work it out later. So we'll see.
How far did you get with Fabio?
He didn't get anywhere because obviously he's they already had it pretty much by the time I saw the announcement and we spoke to Queensbury, it was pretty much wrapped up with him and Honey. So, you know, still like I think that's a decent fight, and I'm sure me and Fabio will get on at some point. But as of right now, Dylan needs to stop being a pussy, and Cabel, yeah, we'll see what happens there.
What do you think of Miller pulling out?
I think people get injured. I can't say nothing. I got injured in my last camp, so you can get injured, and unfortunately, listen, we all are training for opportunities, paydays, and momentum. So if you get injured, it doesn't do you any good. Like it doesn't benefit you in any way being injured. So I can't see why he would say he's injured if he's not.
Huge heavyweight fight at the top of the tree, and that's between Usyk and Daniel Dubois, the rematch. Do you feel Daniel has grown enough to turn the defeat into victory the second time around?
Yeah, I think like even in the first fight, the thing is at heavyweight, everyone knows everyone's got a puncher's chance. Everyone's got a puncher's chance. So it's like not only has he got a puncher's chance, he's actually a decent boxer. He's speeding up quite a bit, and Usyk is now 37 or 38. I don't know. He's one of those ages where it's like his main attribute is being athletic, moving a lot. Did the because we've seen him every time he has a fight. I always think it's Father Time's gonna catch up with him now. AJ's gonna beat him. Fury's gonna beat him. I mean, he just does it. So I'm in a position where I'm kind of like my mind is telling me Dan is a young man and Usyk's 37, been in like maybe 6 back-to-back hard fights. Surely it's gonna catch up with him, but every time I've said that, he's come out and done something else.
Do you look at Daniel Dwan and say the similar things that people do, that it's just mentality with him? If he can get that right, he's almost unbeatable.
No, I think he's a fantastic fighter. Anyone that can see him can see he's got like great grit. He's got great intensity and he punches hard. Like, but I don't think it's a mindset thing. Yes, okay, we can say that he's quote unquote quitting fights, but that's a skill thing where guys get past the power, get past all that, and then are able to work hard for the rounds. The same thing happened in the Joe Joyce that beat him. It was down to that. They were very competitive, but he just pushed past the power and the thing and got it. Same with the Usyk fight. So it's not necessarily his mind; it's also his body.
You sparred both, right?
Both who?
Usyk and Dubois.
I've never sparred Usyk.
Okay, I thought you might have done. No. But who do you think has the tougher time in finding the right sparring for the other fighter?
I think. Yeah, no. Oh, yeah. Obviously, you'd say Dan because it's not hard to get big, strong sort of guys, and then especially if they're rotating rounds. But it's hard to get good southpaw thinking movers that are gonna want to spar Dan. So I'd say Dan's gonna have the hardest time with sparring. But there's the likes of Moses out there. I don't know if they would spar Moses, but Moses is yeah. So Moses would be a great sparring partner, and there's probably other guys that amateurs that we don't know of that you can make it work.
With your fighter's eye again, do you see Usyk as someone who's still an incredibly brilliant fighter, but not as incredible as he might have been a couple of years back?
It's hard to say because I mean, the fact that he just beat Fury, who was before all of these fights he's beaten these guys, they were all formidable, and then after he beats them, people go like, "Oh, they're done." But AJ was formidable before he beat him twice. Fury was formidable before he beat him twice. All the fighters that he's beaten have been formidable. So you can say that I'll say he's just as good. It's just, you know, a lot of fighters adapt as they get older. So he might not bounce around the same way, but he's using lateral movement to dodge shots now. So I still think he's good, yeah.
Did you manage to speak to AJ last night?
Yeah, we had a little word. Nothing crazy.
What was he saying?
Just little words.
Hello and goodbye.
Yeah, little words.
That'll be a fight on your radar?
Not immediately, but yeah. I think that at the end of the day, we're all boxers trying to get to world titles. So if he was in a way of a world title, have to happen.
He seems to be in a bit of a strange place. He's obviously everyone's waiting for that Tyson Fury fight, but doesn't seem to be appearing to happen. Tyson keeps teasing something, but no fight seems to be in the offing. Deontay Wilder, there's rumours of that fight. He's fighting Herndon in a comeback fight, and they're thinking maybe they'll finally put those two together. But as of right now, he seemed a little bit, I guess, confused as to why fighters don't seem to want to be in a position to fight him, I guess.
Yeah, so like I said, I kind of understand that sentiment being in the position I'm in right now. But with AJ's AJ, so people are going to want to fight him because the money will be up for that fight. So I think it's just a timing thing for him. He needs to obviously get himself right and then see what happens.
A couple of final topics I just want to touch on. Eubank Jr. versus Ben. What do you think of it last week?
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Watching it, the whole build-up was, I thought, fantastic. I didn't think his dad was going to show up. Then his dad showed up. It was great. And I think it really captured. It was like that was one of those moments where boxing was bigger than just a fight. It was like the feeling and emotion, sides, like father, son, and it's like there were stories in it that kind of resonated with me. Like, obviously, you want your dad to be proud of you. You want to be proud of your dad. Like, you want to have that, passing of the torch or whatever. And to see both of them, who, like, not many fighters, especially, or people get that opportunity where to sort of like match legendary status with their parents. Do you know what I mean? So, whether it's Eddie Hearn with Barry Hearn or whether it's Conor Benn with Nigel Benn, etc., when you've got like great parents who've done great things, you want the opportunity to be seen as like, I'm great myself. And to see both of them come out of there and then, unanimously everyone said it's a great fight, one of the best fights they've ever watched live. They both get to walk away and say our parents were great and we had a great night ourselves.
Do you want to see the rematch?
Honestly, I understand why I think the rematch will happen, but I'm not in Eubank's position. Do you know what I mean? So it's hard for me to say. But I kind of echo the sentiment of his dad, which is if you leave on the top, you like that's what you always remember. So when I next see Eubank, it's going to be, mate, you had that great fight with Ben and you managed to win and all that. That's the last memory you have of him boxing. So you end up on a high. But is that worth the money that he'll get in a rematch? And we don't know what happens in a rematch. Does he win by stoppage? Does he get stopped? I don't know. But either way, I'll watch the rematch for sure.
Well, the last thing you remember of him, do you mean like this could be a place where he could call it a day?
I don't think he is. I saw his interview with Sky. That guy's not done. You can see when someone's still got fire burning. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, I'm not in his position, so I can't say I'll retire. It's not like he showed me retirement sort of energy. But I'm just saying, same way Carl Froch, still a phenomenal fighter, won at Wembley in front of all those people, and he gets to ride that off into the sunset. 90,000, blah blah blah. So, would I see the rematch? Yes, but I do understand what his dad's saying and leave on top.
Eubank Jr. wants to slice of Canelo. Do you feel that that's a fight where Eubank Jr. does have a real good chance of beating Canelo now that you've seen Canelo against Scull?
I just think anyone can have an off night. That's the only issue. And what he did with Ben, it might be hard to do with Canelo because, you don't want to get up close with Canelo because he's good at sinking in body shots and quick left hooks to the head. So I'll still say Canelo's obviously clear favourite in that fight, but whatever you want to go and achieve, give it a go.
Last thing I want to touch on is, of course, been speaking with Joe quite a bit about his cancer diagnosis since, and I think he's going to go under the knife. But how has it been dealing with Joe, who's I guess he's a bit stubborn and wants to just kind of bury his head in the boxing, but also needs to look after his health too? Yeah,
I think to be fair, at this stage, initially when obviously I first heard and found out, I did think you're putting too much into us fighters. When he found out, he didn't tell any of us. He just kept us going, pushing to our fights until the new year. He let some of us know, and you can see it's keeping him alive. It's keeping him going. Basically, being around the fighters, being around that energy. And when you look at him, you'll never think if he didn't say anything, even now, you wouldn't be able to tell what he's going through. So it's testament to his character. But I do think there is a point where you do need to kind of focus purely on your health because you don't want to burn yourself out, but he's on top of it.
Lawrence, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me a lot of your time. Hopefully see you in a fight very soon. Thanks for being the Seconds Out. Come on.